how to overcome stress eating and binge eating in stress. Now, this is an interesting question that I've got, and I'm recording a video which will help you deal with this. So, if you are also dealing with this, I think this video should help you there. Now, let's understand this. What is happening over here? So let's just kind of, as an engineer, as somebody who likes to troubleshoot, I would like to first identify the problem. The problem is something happens in your life that creates stress, and because you are stressed, you end up eating. So 3 steps to this. Now let's go to the first one, the root of it, because problem is there. No meal plan, no diet plan, no kind of diet or food is actually going to solve this for you. So we need to get in a little deeper to understand this. So understand what is stress. In simple way, stress is you are threatened. And when are you threatened? When you are threatened is when things don't go as you expected it to be. So when there is difference between reality and your expectations, bigger the difference, more threatened you feel, and that's exactly where you feel stressed. So you expected certain income to come in, but if that doesn't come in, you get stressed. If you expected your expenses to be low, they turned out to be high, you get stressed. If you expected your wife, your spouse, your parents or somebody, your kids to behave in a certain way, when they don't, you get stressed. You expect your job to continue, be there as long as you want, but if you get laid off, you get stressed. So all these things are triggers which leads to stress. So that's the stress. Now if you look at this again, the 3 parts, what happens because of which you get stress, and how you deal with that stress is by eating food. So the number one way to deal with that, and I will tell you 3 steps at each of these layers that you can deal with. So go to the root of it, because that's where everything starts. If you can manage that, the other 2 will not be needed, or you need less of them. So root of the problem is between your expectations and reality. So here is the thing. Now this could sound a little spiritual, but let me tell you, we literally have zero control over the results. What we have is control over our actions, and our actions, more planned, more precise, and more consistent our actions are, more results are going to be probable. Okay, so you still not have any guarantee for the result, but you can increase the probability of the results. So that's what you can do by taking right actions with the right intentions consistently. And that is where planning and preparation comes, because more planned and more prepared you are to deal with something, more your actions are going to be aligned, more consistent you will be, and more consistent your results will be. So that's where you can reduce the number of stressful situations. However, remember, you cannot completely eliminate that. You can reduce the stressful situations, which means you reduce the number of times you get stress, which means you reduce the number of times you end up binge eating because of stress. So that's one way. Now, there are still times where things won't go as you wanted it to be, or as you think it should be. Now here's the thing, that is going to happen. So for number 1, expect that things can go wrong, and they will in quite a few ways or quite a few times. So expect that to happen. So that's the thing. Now once you've expected and accepted that things can go wrong, the next thing that you need to do is build resilience. That is at the layer 2. Now it is, which means your ability to soak pressure, to absorb stress. Now if you actually learn to absorb stress, and more you deal with it, it is like putting in repetitions and doing it more number of times, you better get better at it, or you get better at it rather than you better. right? So you get better at managing stress and you become more resilient because now you're used to certain amount of stress. Now more resilient you become, less threatened you feel, and less you're going to reach out for food or end up binge eating. So layer number 1, plan and prepare. Layer number 2, build resilience by handling or being much better at handling that stress. And number 3 is when it comes to eating or managing that. Now again, let's go back or take a step back. Why do we end up eating when we are stressed? Here is the thing. We end up eating when we are stressed because eating gives us sense of safety and security. When you eat food, you get calories. When you get calories, your primitive brain or umbilical brain or whatever reptilian brain you want to call it as, now feels sense of relief that okay, I am not going to die of hunger. Now this is how your brain works. Now here is the thing. Eating or stress eating is what we call it as coping mechanism. Whenever you are stressed, you end up eating because that makes you feel good. Now it's all about feeling good, feeling safe, and that is where all your senses can come into play. And this is what I call it as the third thing, or now that you've learned how to plan and prepare, you're much more resilient and you still get stressed. How to deal with it is by having multiple coping mechanisms, which is not just food. For example, whenever you're stressed, you could just drink a glass of water, go out of the building, of the house, go in open, take a few deep breaths, and you will feel much better at it. Okay, you could actually sleep for slightly longer time. When you are stressed, you will feel better at it. So essentially what you got to do is understand you have 5 senses, and you can use all 5 senses to influence your brain and cope better with stress. So for example, food is more of a taste as a sense. So you get calories and taste, which helps you cope with it, which is fine. Now you can actually say, for example, go for a deep tissue massage or a spa when you're stressed. You'll actually come back much more relaxed and rejuvenated. Or you can go for a walk out in nature where actually you get the touch and feel of natural air. Your vision, your eyes would look at plants and trees and animals and birds and all that stuff. That will also make you feel much better. So you can use your eyes, your other senses. You can listen to some good music, relaxing music. That will also help you deal with stress better. So you can use all your senses, your vision, your taste, your feeling or the touch, your ears. All of these senses can be used to manage with stress. So essentially what you got to do is you just got to really understand that better planned and prepared you are, less stressed you're going to be. Second thing, accept the fact that stress will be there. So learn how to be more resilient with that. And number 3, that sometimes it could still go above your resiliency capacity. Then have multiple things or multiple ways of coping with stress other than just food. So food can still be part of your coping mechanism, but that should not be the only part of the coping mechanism. So hope this was helpful. If you liked it, click on the like button. If you think that somebody needs this, share it with them. And if you want to be updated about when the next video comes out, click on this subscribe and bell icon and you will be notified first. Thank you.